Hi everyone, it's Laura Brazil of Mind Over Muscle with your movement tip. And today we're going to be talking about putting on your socks and shoes while seated. So I have my socks on right now. You can have your socks off, it doesn't matter. And what I want you to do is simply take off your socks or your shoes, or if you're not wearing anything on your feet, just grab your foot and pretend. So do what you would do if you were taking off your socks and shoes. Notice what happens. You may have noticed for me that when I took my sock off, I brought my foot up like this, and when I put it on, I went like this, which I was not expecting. So notice how you were taking off your socks, how you were putting them back on. And you might do completely different things for shoes. So you could do it with socks, shoes, slippers, whatever you might be using. But we're in this seated position, and the reason why I want you to know how you're doing this task is because your hips are going to move differently depending on what you're doing. And being able to touch your feet and care for your feet, put on your socks, put on your shoes without a lot of effort is really important for quality of life and daily living. So I want you this time, I'm going to actually switch how I take off on and off my socks and shoes. So I'm going to take off my socks the way I put them on before and do it a different way. So I'm just asking you to put on your socks, take off your socks, however it might be, differently than you did the first time. And I'm going to have you do this a couple times, and I'll go from the side view here too, and you can start noticing I have to round my back a little bit as I do this. But how many different ways can you take off your sock, take off your shoes, put them back on, and as you do that in different ways, you're actually getting hip movement in different ways. If you find that you're doing a lot of rounding like this, what would happen if you took that rounding away? I can't really reach my foot. So start noticing these things, because if we're doing a lot of this, then we're not getting a lot of hip motion. So we can get more hip motion out of our this daily activity if we think, okay, how far can I go with my hip first before I add in my spine and my pelvis rocking? So play with this over the next week or so, and when I come back next week, I'm going to talk about putting your socks and shoes on from a more standing position. So a little bit of a balance challenge if you want it, and but this will help get your hips ready for next week's movement tip. All right, until then.